I'll do right here is go back, way back.
It's the Going Way Back show with Money B.
It's the Going Way Back show with
raw
Money
and
B.
uncut.
Your home for classic hip hop, raw and uncut. And I'm pleased and honored to be joined by none other than Rockness Monsta, Heltah Skeltah, Boot Camp, Clik in the building, the people's champ.
What up?
What's up, fam? Like? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed.
Without saying, man, I just kind of like been peeping your whole movement, man. You're real active right now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I just saw is the single is called "Move On."
What's it? No More.
No More. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No More. And you know, like I always, even though this is a show about classic hip hop, so we definitely gonna jump right into the history of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I was impressed by the song and what I saw. So talk about it and give me your thoughts on today's climate, what's going on right now.
Well, for that song, like, I feel like, you know, that's the most, I mean, we living in strange times right now, but to those of us who for real know, it ain't that strange. Like, it was to be expected. Like,
hold on, Rock. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Mm-hmm.
OD, are we live? Because Teezy says she's not seeing it. Making sure. Yeah. Can you see it? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to miss it. This is important.
Right. I got you.
The kids got to know. Boot camp clip in the building.
Yeah.
Once again, the people's champ. Now, we had just started off, and I was just talking about your new single,
No More,
right?
Yeah.
No More, right? And it's really just talking about the climate today. And I just want to get your thoughts on it and inspiration behind the song and what you really want people to know.
Well, most of my like we living in strange times right now, like,
right.
But for some of us, I can imagine yourself included. You know what I mean? These times are strange, but not that strange because we've always been in tune with the capitalism playbook. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's part of it. Like a lot of this shit is like part of their handbook. Like it's in their playbook. Like they've been doing this. Like if you know your history repeats itself over and over. You know what I mean? And if you aware of your surroundings in real life, then you know that America didn't just get racist when Trump came here. You understand what I'm saying? So So with that being said, we've always known that we've lived in a foul land when it comes to a lot of things. You know, I mean, it's a great country as well, but you know, they do a lot of foul. So I always, in my music, I never, you know, I would drop little jewels here and there, you know what I'm saying? But I never would hit it right on the nose because I never wanted to sound preachy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, you know, as you know, I was the ignorant dude in the street before, and all of that came off corny to me when I heard it. Even though I know there was a time I loved me some Public Enemy and you know, when it first started, you know, when conscious rap first came about, I was with it. But as I got a little bit older, you know what I'm saying, you know, time started, you know, hip hop changed and all of that. It got to a point where if you were too preachy, you kind of, you know, you kind of shun some people away. So I wasn't really fond of being so direct to the point when it came to that. But under the current circumstances, I was like, nah, B, like, nah, like sometimes you just gotta hit something dead on the nail. You know what I'm saying? And it being indirect does not serve you. So that was where I was, and like I was speaking straight from, you know, like straight from the heart. It wasn't really from the head. Yeah, I threw a little punchline or two in there. You know, it was a little bit of creativity in there, but it was all from the heart. Like it's like, yo, it's like this, like first lines is like, are we mad yet? Are we tired of getting thrashed yet? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I kept those bars simple because it's so poignant. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to just feel that because That's what's happening. It's not that we getting thrashed. We've been getting thrashed. Are we tired yet? Like, what are we going to do?
Right. Yeah, like what's the next move? And you being like, are you still in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
And like I haven't been there in go ahead.
I'm in Brooklyn, but I'm back and forth between Brooklyn and Arizona.
Okay. I was just gonna say I haven't been there in some years, but from what I understand, it's sort of like it is across the country with the gentrification, where Brooklyn ain't the same Brooklyn, right? So being there, how is all of this being received? Because I'm pretty sure, like some of the people who aren't Black or brown are like, this is our Brooklyn too. Are they in lockstep?
Well,
from what you can see.
From what I can see, because when the whole pandemic happened, like I went to Arizona for the majority of that time because that's where my daughter is, and she's only 6 now. She was 5 when it started. So with all of this craziness, I didn't want her to be in a space where she was wondering where's daddy or when is daddy coming home. So I seen all of these shutdowns and lockdowns and all of this stuff happening. So I got up out of New York and went to Arizona and spent those 4 months with her. So I wasn't really on the grounds in New York during the pandemic when all of the George Floyd, when all of that rage popped off. So, but I can my timeline is full of New York. All of my most of my loved ones are in New York. So, I was getting a little bit of read on it. I haven't been seeing it myself, but what I can say is what I do know from the info I was receiving and seeing is that like the white people, like I always felt like you can't listen. You're not going to make nobody. You're not going to get anybody to change something that's beneficial to them unless you make them. You understand what I'm saying? You can't. You ain't going to be. You ain't about to negotiate your way out of slavery. You're not about to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Like we still, like slavery still exists. It's in the Constitution. All you have to be is incarcerated, and it's plain and simple. So you got this whole system designed to just take Black and brown people to jail so they could be slaves. Slavery never ended. You understand what I'm saying?
Free labor.
Right. So it's like like that system works for them. You know what I mean? It works to their benefit. So like with the song No More, like it's probably going to take some scrapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, other than the scrapping, like having white people in in support of us is very helpful. We got some Black people who are so angry they don't even want help from white people, but they don't realize that we might not only way to change a system from without violence is to change it from inside. You understand what I'm saying? So some of those white allies will be useful in that because they're not going to treat them the way they treat us. You know what I mean? Some of them are already there or already inside. You have whistleblowers and this, that, and the third. Like every day, some new information is coming out. But I'm patient. I know I don't know it all. I know that my default settings of believing, like my default settings or my belief system is that mainstream media is not telling me nothing that's true. Like if they telling me is right, I probably should be looking left. You understand what I'm saying? And just just keep my ear to the street and being careful. You know what I'm saying? I'm masked up and all of that. Do what I need to do. But I'm stacking my guns at once for the revolution. That's because I feel like some shit going to jump off at some point, and that's where we at.
So anyway, everybody, get ready for it. Well, let's go from now Brooklyn and let's take it back to
Brooklyn.
To the real Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Where it all started. Right. So what always and I have to be totally honest, I was late to the party with the whole boot camp clique, just because, like I was always a fan early of a Buckshot and the whole Black Moon and everything. But then when everybody else, when Heltah Skeltah came and Smith and Wesson, the whole clique, rather than really diving into all the music, I was more impressed and interested of just you guys as a collective to be
Mm-hmm.
together and have these different entities within your collective, right?
Right.
So I always, I wasn't hip to all of the music, but
Right.
I just used to watch you guys and be like, this is interesting. So tell me
Mm-hmm.
how, you know what I mean? Because I would compare it to the way we were doing it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we had all of these groups within our group and just
Uh-huh.
the dynamic of it. And also, a lot of people think just because you're in a group that you guys all come from the same neighborhood, the same projects, the same this, that, and the other. So tell me
Right.
how that all came together, because I'm sure you guys are from different aspects of the area.
Yeah, well, most of the boot camp clique,
Yeah,
the ones that the world knows for real, we're
yeah.
from Brownsville. Most of us.
All
Um,
right.
about six of like most people when they think of the boot camp, they think of the Great Eight, which is Buckshot, Smith and Wesson, Heltah Skeltah, and OGC, right?
Right.
And there were more and all that, but the world knows those eight, right? That's not even including 5 Feet and Evil D, who were members of Black Moon. You know what I mean?
Right.
5 Feet and Evil D are both 5 Feet is from Bed-Stuy, Evil D is from Bushwick. Buckshot
Okay.
is from all over Brooklyn. Like he lived in Brownsville,
Mm.
he lived in Crown Heights, he lived in Coney Island, he also lived in Bushwick. Heltah Skeltah, well, me, before I get to Heltah Skeltah, me, Steele from Smith and Wesson, Louisville from OGC, a Top Dog from OGC. We're all from the same projects. Strang
Okay.
is from a building across the street from our projects, right?
Okay.
So it's like he's from like like if people he's damn near from our project. He's one of the
Same hood.
the apartment building right across the street, right behind our buildings, right? And
Okay.
Tech is from Bed-Stuy, right?
All
And
right.
Ruck is from Brownsville Projects. It's from down the block from me and Steele's projects. It's called Cephalo Projects. It all
Mm.
started to a certain extent in Cephalo Projects. Like Steele was, he had his little rap group going on. It was like he was a solo artist. Like Tech didn't even really rap yet. You know what I mean? Still had a DJ. He had two dancers on some Scoob Lover, Scrap Lover shit type of. He had
Yeah.
his whole shit was working already. I was across the street in my building with a similar setup, but my setup wasn't working. Like my dancers ain't have no routines. Niggas ain't had not one routine. Or my my DJ was soft and it just wasn't working. They wasn't really serious with it. But when
Right.
me and Still linked up and it was kind of off to the races from that point. From the moment from the moment I met Still, I knew that I wanted to fuck with his movement. I was like, nah, they doing it right. My niggas is playing, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have, me and Still gradually we just put it together. Tech and Still met in high school. So that was how they met. Like me and Ruck, we met through our mothers when we were kids. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like I was nine.
Family.
I was 9 years old when I met Ruck. You know what I mean? It was at his 11th birthday party, but we didn't link up until later when we was on some street shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, so we was just, it was kind of close, but it wasn't all the way. It was, like Tech was from a whole nother hood, and Buck, like I didn't know Buckshot until Who Got the Props was already out, but I knew Five
Okay.
because Five had family in my
All right.
projects. It was a big, pot of gumbo, but it was dope though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And and through all of that, Buckshot was, because he came out first, he was almost considered like the ringleader. That was
Right.
the cat that everybody looked to first. And then, and I don't even know how Drew High came into the picture.
Mm-hmm. Drew High came in because when Buckshot was shine, if I'm not mistaken, Buckshot and Drew High met each other when Black Moon was signed to Nervous Records. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I think Drew was working there and they built a relationship there and it just, it was a good one and it worked. You know what I mean? I don't know if people were into Zodiac, but like they are a Scorpio and a Pisces, and Heltah Skeltah is a Scorpio and a Pisces. So I feel like maybe it's something to that match right there. You know what I'm saying? They linked up and they did big things together.
Word. And I was just mentioning it about Buckshot because obviously Buckshot being out front, but outside of that, your voice is the one that stood out the most. Now, did you get extra attention because of that? And was anybody pulling you to be like, yo, your voice is crazy. Like, we need to have you out front, or you need to be solo or something like that?
I mean, we were pretty insulated, so I didn't get any pressure to go solo. You know what I mean? But I did feel crazy. It felt bad, honestly. It didn't feel good to be singled out like that, because I knew my niggas got busy. Like, Sean Price was an animal. Like, he was the illest nigga, period. Even back then, like when we first met him, you know what I'm saying? Well, not when I first started running with him, and like his rap style was so ridiculous. It was like, but when we recorded Nocturnal, it was like it wasn't the same version of him. It was a version of him that was just learning how to be a studio rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't the same dude. Like, I promise you, he was wild and crazy. He was more the nigga, the Sean Price that people hear now, the off the wall bug out. I mean, I can remember clearly in like 2004, some shit, like 2003, maybe, me and him had a conversation, and I told him, I was like, B, you the funniest nigga I know. Like, you a bugged out nigga. I'm like, when you become the nigga you are in real life, in your raps, ain't nobody gonna be able to fuck with you, son. Not even me. No, I'm telling you, you that ill. You know what I mean? I don't know if he remembered that or he internalized it, but he did that. You know what I mean? So he was, in my mind, knowing he was that back then, but everybody looking at me, like, it didn't make me feel as comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And all they talking about is my voice. They ain't even talking about my bars. I'm like, nigga, I ain't even had nothing to do with my voice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
well, no, that was the next thing I would say. The bars was crazy, and you guys' style was different. But basically, what you're saying is, Ruck was just a tamed version of himself on record, because he was focusing more on trying to be the rapper as opposed to just being himself on wax.
Right. And
you know what I mean? And then
he also stated, also stated at one point, I heard him say this on numerous times, like before the industry, like, he wasn't taking rap serious. He didn't really have a rap book. He didn't have a book of raps and none of that shit like that. He's like, Nocturnal was his first book of raps. And he was like, he was nervous. Like, he didn't want to, like, he felt like he would fuck Rock's shit up. Like, he's like, I don't want to fuck Rock shit up. Rock been doing this shit since he was 11. Seriously, you understand what I'm saying? Like even and even though, like, Ruck went to the same high school with Tech and Steel, and they ran with each other, I brung Ruck to boot camp. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it was like, yo, he didn't want to fuck this thing up, so he was this tame version of it. He was like Diet Ruck. You understand? He was like Ruck Light. He wasn't he was missing all his calories and shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once yeah. With that being said, it was like I felt uncomfortable with all of that extra attention that came my way. I mean, I took it. I couldn't not take it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it, but inside, it was a piece of me that felt uncomfortable about it.
But it seemed like, so it feels like you're saying, like, your energy kind of gave him the confidence to come out of his shell and be who he really was. And I would also say that it's probably, and you had to feel that it was reciprocated, right? Because I saw a clip, this was a few years ago, a clip of you guys freestyling at some radio station or somewhere. And he was just going, and he was like telling you, kill him, Rock, kill him. You know what I mean? Like, right back at it.
Yeah, like, me and him have always been
paying attention to him, and he's like, nah, you gotta.
Yeah, he's always to this day, he's still my biggest inspiration. You know what I mean? Word. Like, if I got writer's block, because he put out so much music. Like, if I'm going through, if I can't write or whatever, or if I feel like I'm being Diet Rock, you understand what I'm saying? I need to step my calories up a little bit. I've been fucking with diet. I've been being Diet Rock for too many songs. All I gotta do is go on YouTube and type in his name, and I'm guaranteed to see something that I never saw before, because he worked that much. You understand what I'm saying? And I'll see something that I'll see and hear something I never saw before, and that shit is high calorie rap, and I'm be like, yeah, because all we ever used to do was try to outdo each other, one up each other. The whole Heltah Skeltah formula for music, for creating music, was just don't be the corny nigga on the song. So that was it. That was it. That was the only rule. Like, and it's only two of us, so you gotta go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if it ain't me, it's you, right? And I get these questions all the time, so I feel comfortable asking you. Like, give me one of the wildest Sean P stories where you're like, yo, this nigga's dangerous. I can't believe he just did or said that.
Yo, I'm gonna give you a good one.
I know it's millions, but just give me a good
millions.
one, right?
It's millions, and I'll be saving them because I'm gonna try to create a platform for them, whatever story.
Well, give me one of the good ones, man.
No, I'm gonna give you a good one right now. This was ill too. Like, one time we was in Switzerland, and we was at the after party. It wasn't at the venue we performed at. We was chilling, having a good time, drinking, turning up, and all of that. And Ruck was like I'm in a VIP area. Ruck is upstairs. Like, it's a high DJ booth, so he's in the VIP area, but up in the booth with the DJ. When I'm down in the VIP and taking pictures with all the fans and all that, just receiving all the love. And it was this chick there. She was the baddest chick in the club, right? But she was hella disrespectful. Like, she was cruising for bruising, right? And I was like, I'm staying far away from her, right? I'm not even, nope, won't, nah, I don't want no trouble, right? So some dudes, some French dudes, they want to get a picture of me, and they getting ready. We pose for the picture, and Shorty not jumps in the picture, but puts her hand in front of the camera, doing all this shit. I'm like, and they trying to talk to her. I don't really understand what they saying because they speaking in their language. I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, yo, when y'all get this together, I'll be right here. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know who she is, but I don't want to be nowhere near. I'm like, I'm over here. When y'all work it out, it's all good. I'm here, right? This process repeated itself about 3 times. And then the 4th time, she not only she didn't put her hand in front of the camera, she put her hand in my face and touched my nose. I grabbed quickly, my wax on reflexes, grabbed the hand, waxed off, like, and I kind of twisted her wrist and just let it go. I was like, don't touch me. I'm like, what are you doing? And she starts, this chick was a Brownsville chick. I don't know, like she was a Brownsville chick in disguise. Like, she was super gangster, wilding, but in another language. Right. Some of the words were English and all of that, right? I'm asking these dudes who wanted. I'm like, yo, is this your girl? He's like, no. He's like, she's with him, and it was this white dude, right? And I'm like, that's her man. I go talk to him, right? And he's like, no, that's my sister. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, get her away from me, please. He can't control her. He's passive as fuck. You understand what I'm saying? So we in this I'm in this debacle right now, and she in my grill. She's back in my, and at some point it was her and it was a bunch of dudes. I mean, everybody it's this scene, and I just kind of spazzed out for a minute, and I pushed her and them. I pushed like 7 people back with one push, right? Yeah. Like, get the fuck away from me, right? All of this crowd, this movement in the crowd attracts Sean P's attention. This nigga jumps down out he jumped down like when you switch players on a fighting screen. This nigga just appeared in the screen, right? He's like, what happened? Yeah. Now I'm looking, and I know this nigga's a loose cannon. He could be a loose. I don't know how much he's drank, whatever. What the fuck? And I'm like, I got this. Like, I'm not hurt. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, ain't nothing, nigga. I'm like, ain't nothing, my nigga. He was like, he looked at me. What happened? I'm like, nothing, B, go ahead. He's like, who you talking to? What happened? Right? He's like, he's not letting this go. And so I'm like, all right. I'm like, B, I'm like, listen. I point to the white dude, right? I'm like, this nigga better get this bitch the fuck out of here before somebody get hurt. I was like, before I
Right.
hurt him or her or somebody, whatever I said.
Something gonna happen.
Ruck said, this nigga smack. Smack the shit out this nigga. Now, dude and the chick, they both in my face at this point. Like, I pushed everybody back, but they're back. You understand what I'm saying? Ruck smacks this nigga. Bow. I looked at the chick. I go, get the fuck away from me, right?
Right.
He's still talking. I look at Ruck. Ruck smacks him again. Bow. I look at her again, dead in the face. Get the fuck away from me. She's still, wow. You see where this is going, right? Get the fuck away from me.
And what is the dude doing the whole time?
He's eating them. He's taking them, just holding his face.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Security comes over there now. Security and so, mind you, I'm in Switzerland. I don't speak these dudes' language and all of that. I'm like, I'm like, my mind going. I'm like, and this ain't the venue we performed in, so I'm not the superstar here. You understand what I'm saying? Like this security might not even know who I am. You know what I mean? Like I'm just some guy in VIP versus a pretty ass chick, and you know who they. You understand what I'm saying? Like they might look at this the wrong way. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, I tell the dudes, you know, the original dudes who wanted to picture me. I'm like, yo, talk to them dudes. La 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 la. They trying to negotiate and navigate the situation. The chick just tries to dip out of the situation and goes and has a seat and shit. I'm like, a word? I dipped out of the situation and had a seat right next to her and shit. And had a whole nother, and all of a sudden she speak English. She like, I don't want no trouble. I'm like, what? But you know, I fast and forward thinking, last thing I want is to get either of us locked up in Switzerland. So she waved the white flag. I accepted it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? We kind of worked it out. She was just on me, but Ruck smacked that man 5 times.
And would have kept smacking.
And would have kept smacking him. You understand what I'm saying? And Ruck got fat, like I got bony, like Ruck had them fat, I know homie face was hurt. Sorry, homie. That wasn't even your fault. It was your sister, if you ever see
it. Yeah. I've only been around Sean P a couple of times. I actually got a video in Vegas where I caught him at Super Nat. It was freestyle. And I got this shit on tape. I'll send you a copy of it if you want it.
Dope. Hell yeah.
No, you know, not a lot of people. Well, nobody has it. It's my tape.
Right.
But I'll shoot it to you. Let's switch gears. Talking about that, you know, I got a lot of people who don't remember. That's kind of just tapping in, even though they love classic hip hop. When you guys back in the day, when y'all had a beef with Big and them, right? And at first, I never knew really where it came from. So explain that. And the reason I asked that because I'm gonna tell you something about the whole thing. So explain where the beef actually came from to the people.
For the beef, I mean, for us, the beef started when we heard the song "Get Money," the Junior Mafia song "Get Money," with the hook, "You could be as good as the best, but as bad as the worst." That's when the beef started for us because, you know, it's a little bit foggy, you know what I mean? But in my memory, where it started for me was OGC performed that song on a big night we had. Now, when we say the name Boot Camp was a very accurate and appropriate name for us because boot camp means basic training. A lot of our members were being trained as we go along. Like I said, Ruck, his first rap book was was the Nocturnal album. You know what I'm saying? Louisville and Top Dog were even newer to this shit. You know, way newer to this shit. You know what I'm saying? So the OGC performance, you know, it was growing along the way. Like, you know, they were building their stage presence and shit. And it was, and you know, so a lot of times we did shows, you know, they was just all right. Whereas you'll look at a Heltah Skeltah and be like, y'all niggas bodied that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and that was the response, you know, OGC was they was the little homies at first. But one night at a performance we had, I believe it was, it was a release, the Duck Down release party. It was when Duck Down first officially became a label, and we had a big party at the Palladium in New York. Rest in peace to the Palladium. Yeah. But fucking in that spot, I believe, and whether it was that night or not, it was a night in the Palladium. We performed, and OGC bodied the shit. You understand? They caught wreck. And I remember Biggie and them, we was cool with them at a time, you know what I'm saying? I remember that night, like OGC, niggas gave them their props that night because they deserved it, you know what I'm saying? It was like their graduation. They body bag they set, you know what I'm saying? So, like that's how my cloudy, foggy memories of it play out, right? Nobody has photographic memory. If somebody tell you they did, this lying. But I'm just saying that's the basis of it. Some of it could be different. I could be fucking up on some of the details or whatever. But it was that song because in that performance, OGC had a song on their album where it starts off in Top Dog. He starts off the verse. He starts off the song with that same thing. I could be as good. He said, you could be the good as the best, but that shit, so he did that. Now, granted, they both jacked it from a reggae record and all of that. But this is right. But this is hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? And even, like when two producers, let's say two producers who have respect for each other, sometimes you catch the same loop from the same record. If you hear mine, if I hear you playing me some beats and I hear you caught a loop that I caught, I'm gonna tell you, oh shit, I caught that too. I just chopped it a little bit different. I'm gonna let you know so you don't think I'm jacking when you hear my version of it. You understand what I'm saying? It's just respect. But even in graffiti, if you running around with the same name, niggas is fucking buffing your shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like it just is what it is. So that's where the riff started. You know what I mean? For us, I mean, like as far as them, it may have started when we made the video in retaliation to it, because OGC had a video, in which what I'm saying, we depicted and Biggie and them in a negative light. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how serious we took the hip hop, back then. Now, what year was that? That
was like 96, like 96, 97.
Okay, so I'm gonna blow your mind, because if that's the case, then I should have had a beef with y'all, because I actually sampled that record and did that in 91. It was Don't Test by Shabba Ranks. Yeah, if you ever heard that 6 Million Ways to Die, choose one. It was from a song I did called Don't Test. That was sampled from my record. And we remade Don't Test by Shabba Ranks. And I actually had to go sing the whole hook. So when I heard y'all stuff, I was like, God damn, somebody else know about it.
Right. But
so I should have been fighting all of Brooklyn.
Nah, but here's the thing though, right? We didn't hear yours and then put it out first. Like that's what they did. They heard our shit and put it out. They heard like when they performed it, like when it wasn't out yet. You know what I'm saying? It was.
So you think they heard it and tried to jump y'all shine?
They jumped the gun on us. Like they you know what I'm saying? It was like we felt, you know what I'm saying? It's like the fuck. All right, B. All right.
Okay, so did that have any connection with the way that you guys connected with Tupac and the One Nation Project? And tell me about that and what involvement you had in that, if any.
Well, I can only speak with so much on that, because I didn't have really no involvement in that. Other than the fact that Buckingham was wearing Heltah Skeltah shirts and shit out there, and all of the footage that I see, you know what I'm saying, from that shit. But I don't know. I mean, it was like when Pac came home. When he came home, he reached out to the homies. You know what I mean? It wasn't Heltah Skeltah specifically, but I know that, from what Young Noble and Edie told me, like, they was, they put, like, they had something to do with it, as far as like, they were more, them being from Jersey, they were really familiar with the boot camp movement as it was going, you know what I mean? As it was growing. So, but it was like, Pac made the call, and Buckshot and Smith and Wesson went. You know what I mean? We didn't have no say so in who went. You know what I mean? So, you know, if I had the opportunity, I'd have been there with bells on, you know what I'm saying? But it just was what it was. And
were you ever in any of the sessions at all?
Nah, I wasn't there. Like he flew them out to Cali. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What did you ever get to really meet or hang out or have any interaction with Tupac ever?
Nah, not with Pop. Nope.
Okay. Just with Edie and no afterwards?
All of the outlaws. Every outlaw that lived after Gaddafi, I fucked with. You know what I'm saying? I have at least some personal memories. Like Fatal been in my crib in Brownsville. You know what I mean? Two of my former artists were signed to Outlaw Records. You know what I mean? Like I have a strong relationship with the Outlaws. You know what I mean?
Okay. Did anybody ever speak on the resemblance with you and Fatal?
Nah, nobody. Word.
I see a little bit. You know. Fatal,
Word. Nah,
he
that's a first.
He had his cod D's on. He's getting his cod D's on.
Yeah, he got. If I keep, I'm looking to put on a little bit of D's to be on some real shit. Or it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to keep it together.
Right.
Word and just not to cut you off, but Ty Teasy, she's over there. She's checking out the chat room. So if there's any questions, Ty Teasy, just chime in.
Mm-hmm.
We just shooting shit right now. I also know that you have opinions on a lot of things, right? So, and one thing that I'm big on and that I've seen you talking about is sports, right? So you kind of dig it. Are you a Knicks or a Nets fan?
Well,
and be real about it, because I'm just like, okay,
no,
what is that?
No, listen, right?
How does that work?
I'm a Knicks fan, right? But like I got into sports late. Like, you know, I wasn't, as a kid, you would think, because I'm tall, I'm 6'5" and shit, you would think that I was on some b-boy shit always. But no, I was just a casual fan. Like, you know, I knew enough to hate on Jordan and be like, nah, I'm fucking with Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was a hater, and Isaiah sounded like a cooler name, and everybody wasn't on his nuts, just some people. So I was, you know what I mean? I was that kind of fan, whatever, right?
Right.
But when I became a fan later, you know, it was more of a thing where it was when Carmelo came to the Knicks, right? When Carmelo came to the Knicks, I was like, yo, we got a shot. Because the fact that our team was so trash, it was affecting my ability to be a fan. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that being said, it was like, we got a shot now. I got a dog in the fight. Like, I knew enough about basketball to know that Carmelo and LeBron were constantly compared to each other. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that this nigga was somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I started watching, and then I fell in love with the game. But before that, if you ask me what team, it was only one New York team as far as basketball, but I wouldn't choose between the Yankees and the Nets. I was all New York, everything. And that was just mainly because I would go out of town and, you know,
represent
the people,
New York.
And no, but the people from like, I would go to LA and you wouldn't find nobody who wasn't an LA fan. You understand what I'm saying? Like you wasn't gonna find like, you go to San Diego, every nigga was a Chargers fan. Everyone. Like wasn't nobody hated on the Lakers from LA.
Right.
Nobody did that. So I was on some OG trying to make a statement shit. I'm all New York, everything. So when Brooklyn came to New York, them niggas was just some niggas from Jersey. They was placed on a probationary, they was placed on probation and my fanhood until they proved themselves. So, you know, they, just because you move to my block don't mean you right and exact.
My guy right away.
You understand? You might be here because you a snitch. You understand what I'm saying? You might have been doing all kind of fuck shit in your last hood. So that don't just play with me. So I waited, you know what I mean? And I have to say that right now, they're impressing me. You understand what I'm saying? Even without Kevin, without Kevin Durant and Kyrie, you know, they like the little engine that could right now. They're showing some character and shit. And I'm like, okay, I might be able to throw them out. You know what I'm saying? Might be able to throw y'all in the pot.
Yeah, because I'm letting you know I got all this on tape, right? So when Kyrie and them start rocking, I want to go back and make sure that's the same energy. And we deal with the same thing out in the Bay because we got two teams on both sides, and the Warriors just moved from Oakland to San Francisco, and it's like a little debate of can we follow them or whatever because they're not in Oakland per se, but it still represents the Bay Area. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Right.
Tantizi, you was saying something? So so like I said, shout out Tantizi in the building, and Rock, it's time to play our weekly game of hip hop trivia. Are you ready for it? Yeah.
Oh,
I know. It's okay. We play it, not only have some fun, but educate the people who want to know our history. Hold on, let me get it ready. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Tantizi, say what up.
Hey, what's going on?
What's
Can you
going
hear
on?
Tantizi?
Yes, I can hear her.
So what we do is it's a 3 questions. They go from fill in the blank to name the artist, whatever. She's just gonna explain the questions to you. 3, just to have some fun. And then the 4th one, is for the audience to win a Money Being Young Hump t-shirt courtesy of dmerch.com, who sponsors the show along with 90s Hip Hop. So on the last one, if you know, we're gonna hold it to the hat. So let's have some fun. You ready?
All right.
Is there history behind these questions that she wants to give them clues on?
Well, the history, there's not, usually I try to make it easy because people have complaining that my questions are too hard, right?
Please make it easy.
So I try to keep them easy, or at least I try to make them artist specific, like, this is all about artists from Brooklyn, or this is all about West Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time, I feel like I'm making the questions a little easier, so I didn't make it specific to anything, but it's all hip hop and it's all love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just about, sharing the history,
Right.
whether we know it or not. All right?
I'm with it. I'm with it. If I don't know it, I'm gonna learn it. So I'm with it. Let's go.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go.
So say number 1.
Say number 1.
Yeah.
Number 1.
The first question is, on Tribe Called Quest hit single, Award Tour, they borrowed the melody and lyrics from another hip hop classic. Name the song and artist who made it.
And she's talking about we on the world tour with Muhammad, my man.
My man.
Place.
Right.
I know you can't see the chat room, but people, if you was watching on YouTube, they can help you out.
Oh, they going to I don't know. I don't know this.
Did you know that it came from another record?
Nah, I mean, I don't even know which part it is. I don't know.
On the hook, we're on the world tour with Muhammad, my man.
Nah, I didn't know it came from
with the mic in my hand.
Nah, I don't. I didn't know it came from someplace else.
Okay, is anybody guessing in the chat room? So that actually came from the world famous Supreme team. And it was, we on the world tour with the mic in my hand. They verbatim just took the hook. And it's that sample, if you heard that beat, I think Cam used it. Dun-dun-dun, dun. I wish it wasn't on YouTube. I can't really play the music. I want to play it for you. But just remember, it was called World Tour, Malcolm McLaren and the world famous Supreme team. It was the B-side of Buffalo Gals. Remember Buffalo Gals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was from that time.
I could tell you this. One time, me and Ruck was it was probably one of the few like talent shows we did before we was Heltah Skeltah.
Yeah.
Right. And we came in second place to these girls, right? Mm-hmm. And the girls, they used that beat on one of their songs, right? They the world tour, the Tribe Called Quest beat, they used it.
Oh, okay.
And they freaked it, and they was like, Marcy, best, all right. Like they killed us. I wifed one of those chicks later and all that, but that's another story and shit. But you know what I'm saying?
You give us the tea later.
Yeah, you give us the chronicles about it.
Ready for the second one?
All right, the second one. This one might be a little hard, but let's go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help it.
I'm going to see. Name all 4 MCs of the 80s hip hop group, Fearless 4.
You remember Fearless 4? Problems of the World Today.
I remember that song, but I was so young back then, and I wasn't into hip hop that hard. Like I joined hip hop, like I got on the hip hop train around the era of UTFO and the Fat Boys, Houdini. Okay. You know what I mean? That was around it.
Tatizi shaking her head like you fucking up, man. Gotta make them easier.
Well, at least the third one we have multiple choice.
So does anybody in the chat room? Nobody got it? It was Devastating Tito, DLB, Peso, and the Mighty Mike C.
Oh, I wouldn't have never got none of those. Nope.
But you remember Problems of the World Today?
I remember that's a Problems. Problems.
Yeah, that was a big mid to late 80s. All right, this one is a multiple choice, so this should make it much easier.
All right. I got to get back. Come on.
This is the third and final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's multiple choice. Who was the first rapper signed to a major label? Is it A, Kool Moe Dee, B, Dougie Fresh, C, Kurtis Blow, D, Sugar Hill Gang? Again, the question is, who was the first rapper signed to a major label?
Was it Sugar Hill Gang? D?
And that was a trick question because I said first rapper. Sugar Hill Gang was a group.
Yeah. And I said rapper.
And
I heard that and all of that, but I thought that was just like a vocal typo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But no, Sugar Hill Gang was actually, their name came from the independent label that they were signed to, Sugar Hill Records.
Oh, okay.
And it was an independent label that became distributed later on a larger scale.
So who was the
is anybody guessed it?
Somebody said Kurtis Blow.
Christine got it. Ding, ding, ding. It was Kurtis Blow who was signed to Capitol Records.
That would have been my choice if you wouldn't have said Sugar Hill Gang. I just know that Sugar Hill Gang was like the first, rap record that was officially put out and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Kurtis Blow, that makes, that's what they say. You know what I mean? Well,
he was the first actual solo rapper to be signed to a major label. And ironically, I wasn't even thinking about it, but the Fearless 4 was actually the first group to be signed to a major label.
Okay.
It just came together.
All of that, listen, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I never claimed to be a hip hop historian. That's why, I'm not too, it's all fun, and I definitely appreciate learning that stuff. But my knowledge starts from a certain point, you know what I mean, and then it stops at a certain point too. Like when it get to the mid 2000s, like 2005, like after that. Yeah. When my shit just stops, but like late 80s.
Well, don't feel bad because a lot of the guests, they all play in fun too. So
yeah. And I'm like that too. Like at a certain point, I kind of just stop really following it like that. You know what I mean? I think around the same time, mid 2000s, it seemed like it started changing for us.
Yeah, we there's certain things that we liked about it, and things started to just like and it's not to say that for me I'm lyricism first. I love bars and particularly aggressive bars. You know what I mean? So it's not like it ain't out there. It's just mainstream media ain't really rocking with that. So it's not as easily or readily accessible. So. You begin to stick to what you know what I mean? You don't know the new ones coming out with those kind of bars.
He probably would have been good at Who Said It.
Yeah. Next time I have you, we're gonna do it that way.
But yeah, I'm a study.
Before we do the last one, oh wait.
So the last question is for the audience. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the answer to this, hold it, because this is, you know, for the audience. If you guess it, you win a free Money Being Young Hump t-shirt courtesy of dumerch.com, where you get your history license Digital Underground merchandise. So we're gonna
And if you don't win, head over to DU Merch and purchase some merchandise.
Yeah, and if you don't win, you know where to get it. dumerch.com, Digital Underground t-shirts.com.
All right.
That's what it's all about.
So here's the question for the audience. What was the first full album released on Ruthless Records? What was the first full album released on Ruthless Records?
And that was Eazy-E's Ruthless Records, if you're unfamiliar.
So we'll wait and you guys
Right,
can.
yeah, we'll continue. So I wanted to ask you, because when we were touching on the newer music, right? You know, I'm peeping you and everything that you're doing right now, and your bars are still way up there. How do you stay motivated and just continue to do it when you see a lot of stuff winning that which feel like they're not even paying attention to the craft and keep it in the chart?
Because I have a strong belief in consistency. Like dudes like my brother Rock Marciano, that's my brother through Ruck. Him and Ruck was wild tight, and you know, he's a good dude. But like, he's an example of just consistency. That persistence overcomes resistance. If you want to be a superstar, then you might have to go with all of that, right? All of the, you know, you might have to go with what's popping, but you can still get money. You can still build a fan base and feed your fan base and let them and allow them to feed you with if you're just consistent, you know what I'm saying, and available to them. So, you know, and I think what I do, it's not like the bars are still up there, but my music selection and the fact that like some of the joints that I'll rhyme over, like I'll have, like, I got an album coming out with Ron Browse, and Ron Browse is known for auto-tune shit. You know, I didn't tell him you can't do no auto-tune shit on my album. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like I'm open to it. I just want to do dope. You know what I'm saying? Just do dope shit. So and my sound has elevated sometimes, even though I go back to plain old pots and pans, boom bap sometimes as well. I don't want to do either or, I want to do and. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right, well, give me your top 5 greatest Brooklyn MCs all time.
Oh man. All right. That's better.
Put them in order unless you want to.
That's cool. You said Brooklyn MC, so that makes it easier. Because I don't have, like, I'm not a top 5, top 10 dude, because like I appreciate so much about so many MCs, and there's so many levels to this shit. So I usually refuse those questions, right? But Brooklyn MCs, let me see. Big Daddy Kane gotta be one.
Let's say your 5 favorite Brooklyn MCs. How about that? To take the pressure.
That's even that. I mean, I was gonna go with the top 5. I can do if let me see. They may be the same. They may be the same list. Let me see. No, they're not the same list. The top 5 Brooklyn MCs. Let me see. I gotta start with Kane, right? Big Daddy Kane. Sean Price. Me.
Nice.
Let me see. Jay-Z.
Okay.
I think I gotta say Biggie. You know what I mean? I gotta
put.
I gotta. Like he's too great. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like now,
he definitely influenced the culture for sure.
It's greatness. You know what I'm saying? And it's big on greatness. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, so that would be my top 5 Brooklyn. The top 5 Brooklyn MCs, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Book it. My favorite 5 Brooklyn MCs. That may be something differently. That may be something different entirely. Jay-Z is still there. Sean Price and Rockness Monsta are still there. I would have to say. Let me think. Joel Ortiz is jumping out at me right now.
Okay.
He's fucking animal. Somebody else. Give me a second.
Give me time. I got you.
It might be Uncle Murder.
Uncle Murder.
Wow. It might be Uncle Murder. I fucking love Uncle Murder. Like I love his blatantness. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Like he's more Brooklyn than a lot of Brooklyn.
What do you put Fab in there?
Oh, Fab. See, I just didn't think about Fab, but Fab is such a lyricist.
Right.
Like I don't know if I had it, if we was going top 10, Fabulous he would definitely be 6. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. But if I had time to, and that's in no order actually, without the 5 I just now named. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's in no particular order. Right. But if I was going top 10, I would definitely put Fab in there, without question. I'm just having brain freeze right now. I can't think of a lot of Brooklyn MCs right now, but.
Yeah, somebody just pop in on you with that question. Plus, there's so many, right?
Right. I got a crew full of them. You understand what I'm saying? I had a Steel in there. You know what I mean? He was Steel as a fucking animal, and really, there's a twist with Steel. The old Steel was a different animal. Like if I could get that, if y'all could get that Steel, it's a version of Steel y'all never saw that I saw. That nigga was crazy.
Yeah, and I actually hollered at Steel the other day. He was on my man's show, and I just happened to be in the building. We was chopping it up. But let me share a story with you that you're gonna kick out of. This had to be what's the convention that used to be in Miami? Was it How Can I Be Down?
Yeah.
So it was right after and that happens in the summertime, right?
Mm-hmm. No, when was it? Was it the summer? Might have been like October or something like that.
Yeah. Then that sounds a little bit. I just know it was hot, right? So you never know.
Miami is always hot though.
So it seems like that make more sense because it was fresh, because it was right after Pop passed, right? And I touched down in Miami, and I'm walking down the block, and I run into to Tech, right? And I never met him. Smith & Wesson. And I don't know if it's because we both short or whatever, but we just locked in immediately. And like for the next 2 days, we was just wilding out. It
was the dark skin one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wild boy. He's
So we was on the same page.
Yeah.
So that might give you insight on how we act.
Yeah. He's with the shit. Let me tell you, like probably the biggest party animals in boot camp, was probably Tech and me. Like I used to be in the mix. I was always in the. I wasn't one of them niggas talking that I don't be in the club. Yes, I do. I was in the club, right? But till this day, I go to 8 times out of 10 times I go to a club. When I get there, they'll tell me Tech is there already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whatever was popping, we was at that thing. We was kicking it, and it's one of the great memories I have about being at that convention at that time.
That's dope.
Chilling, that's because if you think about it, it was right after Pop passed, and a lot of people didn't even know about the One Nation project. So he was kind of schooling me on everything. You feel me? Because he recognized me and just kind of pulled me to the side, and we got down like that. So that was dope.
I met Shock G a few years ago. Well, not a few years, or several years, probably about, I don't know, probably it could have been 10 years ago now. I don't know. I met Shock one night. We was building and shit. And it's the funny shit is I don't know about nobody else, but I think it's pretty common. Like for how many years people, even though they knew, still wondered. We're shocking home to the same nigga.
Yeah. Did you ask him?
Hell yeah, I asked him. No, I don't even think I asked him. I think he said it. I think it just came up in conversation. Like he was just like, I knew I left that meeting knowing, you know what I'm saying, that it was that all right. I just needed to know that. I knew it, but I just needed to hear it. I just needed confirmation because that shit was the illest trick ever played on the world right there. Like it was like,
yeah.
Like who think that was salute to y'all, man. That shit was beautiful. Word up.
And the way we played it, like even, recently people are still arguing about that, which is amazing to me because if you ever seen us like in the latter days of when we was really out there rocking together, he was staying right on stage and then just put the nose on in front of you and then change his voice and just go right into it. And everybody go crazy. Like, there he is. Like Geraldine with Flip Wilson or something.
That's crazy. That shit was
it was wild. But it's dope how we all, we always, run into each other and intermingle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's always a good time. Because I remember running into you, and I think, I don't know if it was you guys a show together, but I know that Sean P was performing. It was at Rock the Bells out this way 1 year. I don't know if you remember that. But we chopped it for a few minutes.
Right.
But it's always, a pleasure, legends get together and do legendary shit. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
And just for your information, the answer to the question, the first full album on Ruthless Records was JJ Fad, Supersonic. One of the they released their album in July of '88, and then Straight Outta Compton came out in later that year, same year, but the JJ Fad set the tone. And that the money from that single kind of paid for n.w.a.
Yeah, I kind of knew that, but I would have still got that answer wrong. Because I was a big n.w.a. fan, so I watched all of that n.w.a. to Death Row legacy. Like I'm a junkie for all of that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like n.w.a. owe me a check for promoting them niggas in my high school when I was a kid. Like, because I was one of the first on it. Like when people were still like, like Eazy-E can't rap or whatever. I was like, listen, B. But listen to MC Ren though. Listen to, you understand what I'm saying? Like it was like I was putting niggas onto it. But so anything like when I'm on YouTube bored and browsing, anything like that shit you got a sure view from me from anything, you know what I'm saying, on that, anything that looks respectable from that legacy. So, and yes, I did hear that already about JJ Fad and all that, but somehow when y'all asked the question, I was thinking it was either Boys in the Hood or what was it? We Want Easy. You know what I mean? What was Easy?
Boys in the Hood was the first single that they released on the Ruthless Records. But Easy had his money in other little underground independent records, like the original JJ Fad. He put that out, but it wasn't under Ruthless.
But wasn't it an album? Wasn't it I always thought that there was an album that came out before the official n.w.a. first album.
Well, there was n.w.a. and the Posse, which was the EP that had Boys in the Hood, it had Dope Man, it had the song called LA is the Place. Eazy-E had Fat Girl where he was rapping over beatbox. The DLC was part of what is it called? The Feel of Fresh Posse. You know what I mean? So they were all, and Arabian Prince had a joint on there. So the makings of it, CIA, which was Ice Cube and Jinx, so they were all affiliated, but they weren't. They took that album, n.w.a. and the Posse, which was an EP, and then they formed like a super group of it and called it n.w.a. And that's when they released it. But Boys in the Hood was Eazy-E's song on that, and it was the first single from Ruthless Records with the label on it. So
All
all
right.
that shit started.
I always thought that, like, cause you know, I looked at it. I saw Boys in the Hood, and I thought that was a project. I didn't realize it was a song, but I got you. I mean, I knew it was a song. I thought it was just like the title song of an album, a Boys in the Hood album. I thought it was.
Another fun fact about N.w.a. is, you know, before I started rhyming, I wanted to be a DJ. I consider myself a DJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm originally, my family's from Philadelphia, so I was always back and forth, East Coast to West Coast. I spent my summers in New Jersey and Philly,
Mm-hmm.
and then come home. So I remember when N.w.a. came out, all of our 12 inches or even the EPs and whatnot had N.w.a.'s picture. But when I used to go to the East Coast and look for those same records in the store, they would never have the picture. It would just be the sleeve because they didn't want the East Coast to see the Jerry curls and get turned off before they heard the music. Because if they saw how they looked, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this? Shit's corny."
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was a good play.
Yeah, that's great. That's smart.
Nice to see that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So, you know, before we get out, you know, share with everybody, you know, where you want to direct them about what you got popping, what's going on, how they can stay in touch with you on all socials or anything. Just give it all out.
I'm on all of the not all of the socials. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On Instagram, I'm Rockness BCC. On Facebook, it's Rock of Heltah Skeltah. On Twitter, it's _Rockness_. But I also have a website. It's called IamRockness.com. Simplest way to find all of the, you know, to everything you need to see, everything current right now is to go right on my Facebook, right? I mean, not my Facebook, right on my Instagram and click the link in my bio. It's a link tree. It got all of the new songs I've been dropping this year. There's a Monster monthly series. It's a thing so that means every month this year I've dropped a song. You know what I mean? All of those songs are right in my link. My Bandcamp is in that link. My website is in that link. All of that. So just go right on my Instagram because that's where I'm at mostly anyway. And you know, click the link or send me a DM.
Yeah. So that the Pay Me song with Ron Browse, I didn't even hear him on the song. What's up with that?
These are the ad-libs.
Oh,
that was just I'm saying that's just one of the songs. That's just
marketing.
One song. Like I mean, he did though. He's hard. His presence is really there. All of it, like straight through, loud, in auto tune though. Know what I'm saying?
Oh, word. Nice.
Yeah, like it's there, but there's a song on there. Like there's a song on this Ron Browse album where
when we gonna get it?
No, it's coming. Like it was supposed to come out in June, but the fucking pandemic hit, and you know all of my plans, all of my plans went to shit. But all of my scheduling anyway. But it's almost done. We like 2 songs away. That should be out this year. And you know what I mean. Pandemic or no pandemic is coming.
Yeah, I believe everything happens for a reason. So it gave you time to really put it together the right way, as opposed to put it out before you.
I got a song called "Get It Moving" where I let him shine. It's beautiful, and it's beautiful too. Like he first played the beat, and the hook comes on. The hook was on it already, and he tried to skip past the beat. I'm like, "What are you doing? Bring that beat back. Bring that beat back."
Nice.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's a beautiful joint." Real talk.
Word. Well, man, I appreciate you taking the time once again. Hit me, you know, in the DM or whatever, or you know, you got my number, but you know, an email address. I'll send you that video with
hell yeah.
With Ruck getting busy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's from my little private stash. I'll share that with you. Absolutely. You should have it. You know what I mean? And everything I'm hearing, man, it sounds good. You know,
good looking.
Bars is top level, you know, you always slipping and sliding through the grooves like we know you to do. So even though I spoke about your voice, don't think that the bars is being unnoticed. You understand what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
You ever thought about doing voiceover for anything?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to crack that. I'm trying to crack that nut right now. Pause. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Real talk.
Well, we need to stay in touch with that. Obviously, my voice is a little different, so we probably got the same goals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll definitely share about that. And somebody in the comment, they said it earlier, They said you take like 15 minutes to roll your blunts. But tell them you can't do it and talk at the same time.
Right, man. Let's go on. Say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cover some slack.
They just showing you they paying attention.
Nah, I appreciate it. I ain't roll this one. This
That one came.
Yeah, this one came to me magically.
Nice. All right, man. Well, Rock, man, appreciate you. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
Stay
you
in touch
more,
with your
man.
guy.
I absolutely will, man.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, y'all have a good one.
In a minute. There it is. So it's always a pleasure, you know, when you have people that can come in and share real important history in hip hop and that whole movement. The boot camp click. It's like a tongue twister. Boot camp click. It's hard to say. Say it 3 times fast if you think I'm playing. Shout out to Time Teasy will tell me if I'm right, but it looks like Skelly B Vibes won the t-shirt, and I'm sure Time Teasy will get that information. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Next week, my guest will be Pete Rock. I know I was supposed to have him on a few weeks ago, but we're going to try this again. And I almost have assurance that it's going to happen this time. The miscommunication has been handled. It wasn't Pete Rock's fault. It was just things went the way they went, and we didn't get it right. So next week, we're going to try it again. Pete Rock right here next Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The show, as always, is sponsored by the merch at 90shiphop.com. We can get you officially licensed digital underground merchandise and 90s and 80s hip hop artist merchandise, like this dope ass Kumo D t-shirt that you can get right now. Shout out to Ty Teasy. Shout out to DJ Always, who definitely comes with the time capsule mix every week, which is the pre-party for the Going Way Back show on IG, right around 3:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Thursday. And shout out to OD for making it happen behind the scenes. I especially want to thank all of you guys. You know how we do it. I had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some information, and I hope any of you that asked questions, your questions got answered, or had questions, they got answered. We're going to step on out. Enjoy the rest of your week. Until tomorrow, I believe we're going to have Track to the Future, the new artist platform on IG, and that's special time, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Holla at your guy. And until next time, people, please be easy.
What we're gonna do right here is go back, way back.
It's the Goin Way Back show with Money B. Classic hip hop, raw and